Here. Uh-oh. How we doing, chat? Happy Friday. It's Friday. Why does it feel like a Monday? I don't know. I've been gone forever. Let's kill the music. Let's get it going. It's 3 p.m. 3:04 Eastern, 2:04 Central. We got a ton of basketball tonight. 2 games postponed, but we still got plenty of basketball. 11 games of what could have been 13 games. So there should be plenty to chop up. It's been a really wonky week in terms of basketball slate size. We really only had one medium-large slate. Everything else was kind of chopped up. The Martin Luther King slate got dismantled by the sites. And then we had a couple of 2-gamers or 3-gamers. Then we had that one slate on Wednesday. That was larger, but I was on the road that day. So today, my first day back in the mix, a large enough slate to go dive in. A bunch of values already on the cusp. We know DeMarcus Cousins is lurking. We got news already that Kevin Durant was out. A couple of people have been downgraded to questionable, and we know when people get downgraded to Q midday. Some squirrely stuff could be going on. So let's have some fun chopping it up. I hope you guys have had a pretty good week. It's been a week, right? I haven't streamed since last Friday. A lot has happened since last Friday. Nice little vacation in the mix, but I'm sure we'll chop all that up, man. I'm so glad to be back. I'm glad you guys are here. Shout out to you guys already in the chat. Tormented, Dang Lazy Mofo, Sway McThunder. Mr. Portugal says, I'm back from Europe just in time for this crazy slate. Well, welcome back, Portugal. I'm back from Minnesota. Glad to play a real slate finally. How was the journey? The journey was awesome. I actually had like a blog channel in the Discord. By the way, Mike's good. We good? You can hear me? What's up, Crispy? Boogie, Harden, Kyrie, Fred VanVleet, Corey. Like that? I'm with that. The trip was good, boys. The trip was good. Much colder up there than it is down here in Texas. Literally like 0 degrees at times. Bunch of snow. Beautiful. Minnesota is absolutely beautiful in the snow, at least. But yeah, it was a good trip. Lots of fun stories, but I don't know. I want to rain them all on you. Hey, last Friday after I got off the air, our boy Raj debuted his new hit single, Jalen Carter. Retweeted us. Make sure you check that out. But speaking of Raj, let's bring him on here.
Yo.
Yo, how we doing?
Another day, another grind. A little tired today, but big slate. A massive slate.
You're tired. It's not acceptable.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just one of those days where, not.
If you're tired, that means you ain't been eating right, bro. You been cheating?
Nah, I've been eating pretty solid.
Oh, okay.
It's one of those days, yeah. Not enough, just couldn't sleep. One of those, I don't know. Just one of those days. But we powered through it. Just had a little spinach
baby
shake.
Last night. I'm all rested.
Because gonna sleeping with the wifey these days.
Okay.
One of those. Okay. Understandable.
I mean, yeah.
You get that really big workout before the sleep,
Okay. Oh no.
Work up that sweat, boy.
Stop. God dang it. Oh no. Oh man. But yeah, dropped that new hit single there, Raji Poo.
Yeah, buddy. Jalen Carter, you ain't the one. Check it out, guys. Spotify, Apple Music, video on YouTube. Run the streams up, run the views up.
I'm drinking a smoothie right now. It's pretty good. Pretty tasty.
I just chugged spinach and a little bit of OJ. I just put a ton of spinach, OJ, and just chug it down.
I got half a can of Bang in mine.
Oh, one of those.
And a little bit of cranberry apple. And yeah, I'm trying to fix my green screen. Hold on. Un momento, por favor. There we go. That looks a little crisper, right? Yeah, we got the border down there. Anyway, Man, NBA DFS. I didn't get to play a whole lot this week. Keep an eye on the road. See some crazy stuff. Cavs taking down the Nets. A couple of big OT games last night. I did watch Lakers and Bucks on TV. That was a good basketball game. Jazz and the Pelicans was good until it wasn't in the fourth quarter. But nonetheless, I think there's some interesting games tonight. We'll go get caught up on what Fantasy Labs just tweeted out. Key news to watch as of 3 p.m. Eastern. Pascal Siakam questionable. Kyle Lowry questionable. Miles Turner questionable. Darius Garland questionable. Tyler Hero questionable. DeAndre Hunter of the Hawks questionable. Cam Reddish Jr. of the Hawks questionable. Michael Porter Jr. questionable. So not any like massive superstar names there, but obviously if a Siakam or a Lowry went down, Fred VanVleet's already probably a good play, but it becomes a exponentially better play. Chris Boucher could go up a notch. If some of those Hawks go down, it might increase responsibility for Trae Young. And they've had a shorter rotation. My minute when I was sweeping minutes this morning, the Hawks weren't running as deep as I thought they would. So lots of stuff to watch there. So you guys keep me honest. If some stuff drops while I'm on the air, be sure to let me know. I also see Nick Batum downgraded to questionable due to personal reasons, and that's usually not a good sign. And then Danilo Gallinari was downgraded to questionable midday. So a couple of things to watch that could shake the slate a little bit. But that's the nature of the game, right? The big Friday night slates. It's going to be tons of news to watch. So we're going to be on our P's and Q's in the RunDFS.com VIP Discord. We got the bot Dacker scouring the internet every minute to get us up-to-date news. And before lock, we'll be in it. What's up, Smeezy? All right, so let's go ahead and jump into it, man. Let's go open up the RunDFS.com NBA VIP spreadsheet. Start chopping up this slate just a little bit. And see if we can't walk away with some picks and plays to make us some cash tonight. Game number 1, the Houston Rockets at the Detroit Pistons. Projected starting 5 for the Rockets. Victor Oladipo, Eric Gordon, Jayshawn Tate, PJ Tucker, and DeMarcus Boogie Cousins. A boogie night is upon us. What a year. Up against the Detroit Pistons. Project starting 5 for the Pistons. DeLon Wright, Wayne Ellington, Jeremy Grant, Blake Griffin, Mason Plumlee. We got 215 total, a 3-point spread in favor of the home team Detroit Pistons. Now the Rockets, of course, are shallow now without some bang without John Wall, Christian Wood, and of course James Harden. It still offers us a strong chance at capturing a lot of minutes. I've got everyone except Boogie projected for 35, Depot 33, over 30 minutes. We don't expect defense to be off the chart in this game. The Detroit Pistons have a defensive rating so far of 112.6 points per 100 possessions, and the Rockets defense maybe stands to reason. You replace a Depot or you replace a Harden with a Depot, it gets a little bit better, but it's still nothing I'm running from, especially considering they're still a little bit weak. So this game I feel like is very, very targetable if we're trying to just capture some high predictive value in minutes and usage. And I think if we look at the Rockets side, we pull up Victor Oladipo. I got him at 8K on the nose on DraftKings. I put 32 minutes on top of him. That spit back 40-plus fantasy points. We go run the usage check so far for the Rockets. And all I'm going to do is I'm going to go into this on-off court tool on Fantasy Labs, and all I'm going to do is put Depot on. I'm not going to mess with anybody else, Christian Wood, anything like that. I'm just going to put Victor Oladipo on and just kind of see what the number has been so far, because we start chopping up the minute sample size too much, it's just not going to stick. So 63 minutes of Victor Oladipo. It's a 39% usage rate. So naturally you start taking off, Christian Wood, guys like that. That usage rate should sustain, if not get better. So Depot at 8K. It's 2021. Depot could be an 8K player, at least right now on this team. So I like him quite a bit. Eric Gordon's a little bit harder to love at 5'2", 5'7". I think he's a good stocking stuffer. There is a shot at value, but we know his volatility, his floor is a lot looser. But he does have a ceiling that can get you there. And then DeMarcus Cousins, 4,500 on FanDuel, 4,400 on DraftKings. It stands to reason that 30 plus minutes is not coming for him, but 28 minutes of Boogie. That's 1.5, 1.8 to maybe 2x points per minute going against the Detroit Pistons team that didn't they just let Andre Drummond do like a 30-30 or whatever? If we go to the team DVP chart and RunDFS.com NBA VIP spreadsheet.
Clint Capella.
Yeah, a Clint Capella. That's what Detroit is giving up like the sixth most fantasy points per game. So DeMarcus Cousins already a beast in and of himself. 28 minutes, I'll take it. At 44, 45 is naturally a shot at 30 fantasy points. My soft projections put him at almost 40 fantasy points. So DeMarcus Cousins likely one of the highest owned players on the slate, but I've got no argument against it.
Highest owned player.
Yeah,
by a mile.
I got no pushback on that. And then the Pistons become a little bit more, hard to predict. But Jeremy Grant, I think, is a fun run back. I think he could exceed 40 fantasy points. And then Blake Griffin at 6'3", 6'2". I think there's some meat on the bone there. I got him for a soft 30 fantasy points right now. Derrick Rose in the mix as well. I could see getting to 30 plus, but I think Depot Cousins, I love that handcuff to get me started on the slate. Where are you at on this game? And are you deeper on Pistons than I am on the surface?
Yeah, so I'm with you on Depot and Cousins. Seem like the way to go as a combo. The only thing with Cousins, I'm seeing projected ownership here at above 70%. On a 10-11 game slate, at one point, is he like the game theory fade? Like, let's just say he gets ejected first quarter. Like, you have so much leverage on the field.
So
not playing.
But that's we're reaching for scenarios at that point. But the way I've been trying to for the newer guys in the Discord that have been trying to like multi-entry, and they're like, how much JJ Redick should I have? Blah blah blah. One way to think about it is on the grand scheme of the slate. What do you think is the percentage of the time that DeMarcus Cousins is in the best lineup possible?
I think like 80%.
So 80% of the time on this slate, DeMarcus Cousins is the best play. So I'm not pushing back. So I think I'm going all or nothing. Now I understand the you trying to spin it as what if he gets ejected? I can see him and Blake Griffin could mouth off on each other, whatever. Yeah, but I can't. I definitely can't play for a Jackson. So I think I'm locking it. I think even if I was running 150, I might lock DeMarcus Cousins.
In those 20 entry maxes, you definitely lock him in. Smaller field. In those, like I said, in those tournaments with 30,000 plus entries, 100K up top, I think being underweight on Cousins is a great just kind of game.
I disagree. No shot. Absolutely no shot.
Yeah, no shot.
If you're underweight on this guy, and even if he just drops 30 at 44, you're an
idiot. If he gets there, you lose on the night. But the literally the 20% he doesn't, you smash.
I think if you were gonna get crazy and you're like me, you lock him in 150 and then you fade him in a single entry. Like I think that's the better leverage than going underweight on. It's just not. To me, it's not fruitful to go underweight on a 70-80% owned value play. Like not a guy like this, because then you're just gasping for air at that point. Now it's a big slate, 10-game slate. I get it, but no shot. Depot though.
Depot 8K. His usage above 30%. It's just it's what you want. I'm gonna play all the Depot here. He got there against Phoenix in a tough matchup. This is much easier. Give me all the Depot. Eric Gordon's interesting. He's going to chuck 20 shots. Yeah. Doesn't do much else. But if he gets there with a few extra peripherals, game against Detroit, who plays no defense, I can see him being an okay play at his price tag. Detroit side, I feel like Jeremy Grant, which had like 57, 43, 47. He's been consistent. He's 8K. Mm-hmm. Now he plays Houston. They're going to run up and down the court. It seems like a 50-plus spot for him. So give me some Jeremy Grant at 8K. I really like that 8K price point today. A lot of guys there you can just build around. Give me some of him. On the other side of the center, I know like Plumlee hasn't really smashed, but we know DeMarcus Cousins is not playing any defense. So Plumlee at 5'3", I don't hate. I really like this game. I'm gonna get pieces. You mentioned Blake Griffin at 6'2". I think he has 40-point upside there. So I like a lot of pieces on this game, especially Detroit side. It seems like you're a little not as in love with them, but I think Derrick Rose.
Jeremy Grant's where I start. It's not where I stop. But Jeremy Grant's where I start. I think a lot of people are sleeping on the high usage that Jeremy Grant has sustained this season. I'm gonna give you just the usage rate for Jeremy Grant in his last couple games. Against Atlanta, I got 28.5% usage. And if you guys are like, what the heck is usage gun? To me, if you're at 28 or above, you're the team. Like, you're the franchise. You're the backbone. 28.5% against Atlanta, 30.2% against Miami, 25% against Miami, 28.7% against Milwaukee, 30% against Utah, 25. So his usage is extremely high. So I love him as my favorite run back to the Depot Cousins handcuff. The only like reason I was a little skittish on the other guys on the Pistons is because you just never know. With the way that rotation's set up. But I think DeLon Wright and Derrick Rose, like, they make cases. Blake Griffin, I think I want to believe. I do. He's kind of gotten to like a LaMarcus Aldridge level where every time he's 6K, I'm just like, well, I got to have some. Like, I can't just have none. But Jeremy Grant, easily my favorite Piston. And then, like, anything behind him is probably a tier 3 at the end of the day for me. But Grant has a case to be a tier 1. Probably going to start him at a tier 2A and go from there. Cousins 1, Depot also probably a tier 2A at the moment. And then I'll move it up and down from there. Chat, what do you guys got on this game before we move it on? Crispy says Jalen Carter jam is legit. It's catchy. You ain't the one.
Yeah, buddy. It's the tune.
Boogie Night. It is a Boogie Night, Rashad. What's up, Rashad? Now remembering NWA straight ahead of Compton. What's up, Johnny? Man, Draymond got it. I'm sure you meant ejected. I can't. Oh, you're gonna make me lose it.
Eject button.
I think Johnny got auto corrected instead of ejected. A different word came up.
What happens?
Undeserved second tech. Yeah, Johnny. What an unfortunate autocorrect. What an unfortunate autocorrect. Yeah, man, that Draymond ejection, that's tough. There's a couple of ejections so far this year, but we definitely watched different games.
Bang bang.
Rod, did you see what he said?
I was reading it now. I'm like, oh.
I can't. The thing is, I almost read it just pure off, and then that would have been a clip. The whole What's up, Seth? What's up, Earth to Air? How you doing? Nobody else seen. What's up, Darren? Andrew? Taking Cousins and fade the rest of the game. I wouldn't full fade Depot and Jeremy Grant, but I could see the supplementary pieces are a little harder to predict. Like I said, Gordon, I think, is a 25-35 average window on this slate. That doesn't super excite me for tournaments, but it's fine. Orlando Magic at the Indiana Pacers. Next game on the docket. Project starting 5 for the Magic. Cole Anthony, Evan Fournier, James Ennis III, Aaron Gordon, and Nikola Vucevic taking on Malcolm Brogdon, Edmund Sumner, Justin Holiday, Domantas Sabonis, and Miles Turner. 217.5 total 4-point spread in favor of the Indiana Pacers. So this is going to be one of our medium to low pace games on the slate. Orlando Magic and the Indiana Pacers are league average and below in terms of pace. So on an 11-game slate, that's kind of a strike. And then we move past that and say, okay, who can we play, though? I think the two names from the Magic that we have to vet is Aaron Gordon and Vucevic. We look at Aaron Gordon. He's moved to 7.3 and 7.6 on FanDuel and DraftKings, respectively. He does have point guard eligibility on DraftKings. You see his assist totals going up 7-10. He is doing some ball handling. So that is increasing his perhaps floor in terms of just filling up the stat sheet a little bit more. So I still think he's in the mix in that regard. But I also would say that we need to be a little bit cautious about Gordon's recent game strength of schedule, if that makes sense, right? Minnesota, the Knicks, Brooklyn, especially Minnesota and the Knicks. Like, these are two softer spots. I do think, with his increased role and usage on this team. There's still some meat on the bone for him at 7,600 to drop 40 plus, but I'm a little bit more hesitant. I'm very encouraged at the minutes though. Aaron Gordon was somebody that was on a minutes monitor situation coming into the season, but now he's at 36, 35 off the chain, so I can take some of that going against this Pacers team. But this Pacers
top 5 point guard in the league past couple games.
Yeah, Pacers defense though, it's not something like I wake up in the morning to attack. But I some viability there. I honestly don't know if I would get to Gordon at the end of the day. But right now, if I'm just isolating, could I play him? Yes, I could. But we'll see. We'll see at the end of the day. And then Vucevic is almost 10K on FanDuel, 9K on DraftKings. Pacers, still a matchup I could play some centers against. Vucevic versus Gordon at these prices is going to just be an internal struggle for me because you just feel like, all right, maybe it's one or the other. So maybe if I have them both in my pool as like tier 3s, I set a correlation to play one or the other and hoping I can extract stealing like that. You feel like you're not going to get dueling stealing games. But then again, Gordon having that some extra point guard duties might change that. If you're looking at the Pacer side, one thing the Orlando Magic have done since having to turn to Cole Anthony after Markelle Fultz went down, between Aaron Gordon and Cole Anthony playing point guard, they have plummeted when it comes to fantasy points allowed to the opposing point guard position. And right now on the season, they're allowing the most fantasy points per game. In their defense, let's see, I'm trying to see if there was. No, okay. But yeah, they've plummeted against guard defense. They did just face Luka. They had Damian Lillard. They had Steph Curry. So they had some really high usage point guards. But even guys like Patrick Beverley was able to get off against this team. Beverley had 27 minutes played, 29 and a quarter DraftKings points, 6 assists, 5 rebounds. So Malcolm Brogdon might just be. I feel like I'm every stream, I'm just like, Malcolm Brogdon might be that dude for me. But Malcolm Brogdon might be that dude for me. LeVert's still going to be out. TJ Warren out. We got plenty of minutes put on top of him. I got him at 36 right now, 85 to 82. That AK range is stacked so far. Thinking about Jeremy Grant, Victor Oladipo, guys like that. And if Brogdon can take advantage of this matchup, there's plenty of potential for him to drop 40-plus fantasy points. I do have a Q tag on Miles Turner. Let me go run the injury report on that, too.
He was out last game.
It says could return as soon as Friday's game versus the Magic, dealing with a right hand. As we suspected, the issue right now is all about pain tolerance. Quote, there's really not much you can do for it to heal. Turner said on Thursday, no surgery, no time off. It's just one of those things you've got to get used to. Turner added that he knows his team needs him to return as soon as possible. So if he doesn't play Friday, would expect him to return shortly after. So if Turner can't play, maybe just another bump there for Brogdon. And then, of course, a bump there for Sabonis. And the pathway for his success is a little tough against this Magic front court, too. And he's 9-3 to 10K. So Sabonis also one of those guys. We wouldn't be shocked at the end of the night when he has 50. But we also feel like pre-flop, that's kind of what he needs. So not a lot to love because of the pace, because of the total, all that stuff. But I think Brogdon, Gordon, Vooch, and maybe a look or two at Sabonis are the forefront of what we need to vet. And then past that, I think there's some errant value darts, like a Aaron Holiday, somebody like that, if you had to reach for value. But I think on this slate, as the dust settles and the news comes out, I think our value is going to be a lot more solid than we had the last couple of nights, right? Like, we're not looking at Brandon Goodwins of the world or Emmanuel Quickley's like last night, right? So I think this game I can put on the back burner and see what happens. How high or low are you on this one?
I mean, I feel like I've just been playing Brogdon and Sabonis every day for the past couple of slates at the prices. And now, again, like you mentioned, no LeVert, no Warren, Turner's questionable. I mean, they're kind of carrying the load here. So I think both of them, I wouldn't be surprised if both of them give you 50-plus. So Brogdon, Sabonis, keep him in the pool. Nobody else from Indiana size. Turner plays. He's interesting. He's been getting there on blocks.
So I do want to interrupt with I didn't want to get too forward, but just to react to what German said about Daniel Gafford, with Wendell Carter out. Mm-hmm. Daniel Gafford is 3,100, and he's going to project like an extreme value. Like he could 10x. So I think if you think about this on DraftKings, where your free value is, your can't miss value, your Daniel Gafford and your DeMarcus Cousins, and those are two centers, right? So
Yep.
when we start putting that into, so Cousins center only and Gafford is center only. When we start thinking about that, we start not getting two centers like Miles Turner, even if he did play.
That's true.
Anyway, proceed.
I hear you. I mean, yeah, Gafford, if I think Gafford plays 30 minutes worth of that game, I mean, you might have to lock him in too. But in the Orlando side, I mean, I want to play some Aaron Gordon. It seems like he's been playing well past couple games. Usage is there, the assists are through the roof. It's just at that price, 76, you needed to have a 50 bomb essentially in today's slate.
Yeah.
It's just tough against he did against Minnesota and New York, much easier matchups. Indiana, I respect a little more. Even with the injuries, do they take a step back defensively? Maybe. I mean, like who's really guarding Aaron Gordon if not Sabonis? Not in love with it though. Same with a guy like Evan Fournier, coming back. Took 20 shots last game, which I like in 28 minutes. This is kind of, I want to say he might check the most shots next to Vooch, him or Vooch. So at 5'4", I think there's a little meat on the bone there, can get you 35-ish. Other than that, I might just skip out on Orlando. I'm not in love with any of the plays. They're just there.
Come here, Dante. Chad, I don't know if you heard that. That was my cat.
Shout out to the kitty.
Wait. We don't just face reveal the cat, though, right? We got to get 100 likes for that, right?
Talk about it. Y'all want to see the cat?
Not right now, but we'll work on it, right? You guys went to the 100 likes for me to get a cat. Got a cat. And now another 100 likes, and we'll show the cat. But he's trying to get to my girlfriend.
Orlando might be a fade here, and just like Brogdon.
We'll show him off on the stream later if you want. Yeah, no, I know. I'm sorry. All right, let's move on to the next game. Charlotte Hornets hosting the Chicago Bulls. I like this game quite a bit. Project starting five for the Chicago Bulls: Kobe White, Zach LaVine, Patrick Williams, Larry Markkinen, and Daniel Gafford. Taking on Devontae, Moonlight, Graham, Terry Rozier, Gordon Hayward, P.J. Washington, and Bismack Biyombo. Though I did see Cody Zeller could be back today, so we'll see if they throw him in the starting lineup. This is stacked. This is game stack alert. 228.5 total 3-point spread in favor of the home team Charlotte Hornets. And there's not a whole lot of spots you can go wrong. Looking at the Chicago Bulls side, we talked about it. Daniel Gafford, 3,500 on FanDuel, 3,100 on DraftKings. Is Gafford a power forward on FanDuel? He is. So, I mean, that's so free. Like you
can lock him in on every site.
Yeah. I love that. So let's go get to the injury report here on the Bulls. Get you guys the 411 on what's going on with Wendell Carter Jr. Thigh bruise, will not play versus Charlotte. He was previously listed as doubtful, but now he is out. Chandler Hutchison's probable. And Patrick Williams now available to play against Charlotte. Garrett Temple, ankle soreness, was a full go in practice yesterday. Tomas Satoransky probable. So 9.3 to 9.5K Zach LaVine is still Mr. 50 fantasy points in the right spot. I think this is a good enough spot for him to do that. Kobe White feels a little bit more inviting on FanDuel at 6,100. Not something I'm running to, but I still think he's there for me. Him and Devontae Graham kind of have similarities in terms of what I need them to do to get me ceiling. But Daniel Gafford, yeah, he's looking like an insane value play. I even got Markkinen to be about 5x on the conservative projections. Looking at the Hornets side, I got 35 minutes on top of Devontae Graham. I think he's a chip in a chair for mid-30s, maybe 40-plus. At the price point, he needs it. Gordon Hayward at under 8K on both sites. We know he has 40-plus point potential. He can stay out of if he can stay out of injury trouble. And then P.J. Washington. I might take a step backwards on P.J. Washington, although the matchup has been pretty pristine. A lot of what P.J. Washington has been able to accomplish for fantasy has kind of involved him playing backup center. So if Cody Zeller's back in the mix to eat away some center minutes here, that might depress P.J. Washington's like rebounding and stuff like that. So I might take a step backwards at 68, 12, 11, 10. If you look at PJ Washington, maybe even last year. Like the rebound numbers weren't that high, and I do believe a lot of this is credit to him spelling like Biyombo at times. And just to know that I'm not making this up, let me go look at the popcorn machine for the last Hornets game, or one of the most recent Hornets game. Jeez, they haven't played in a while, huh? COVID.
Yeah.
Hornets at Toronto. So, looking at PJ versus Biyombo. So, yeah, right here we got the PJ and Biyombo started together, and then after that they just kind of spelled. So in the second quarter, Biyombo comes out and PJ comes in. So a lot of PJ Washington minutes were at the center position, and I do think we should be cognitive of the fact that I think Cody Zeller's return might eat away at his rebound numbers. So LaMelo Ball 7-2, 7-8 would be a Friday night if LaMelo was the nuts, but I think Gordon Hayward, Devontae, Zach LaVine, Daniel Gafford. I think those are the four pieces for me, the forefront pieces. But I think Gafford is borderline tier 1 at this point for value. And then if you wanted to get a little bit froggier, I think Thaddeus Young has a case at 3,800 on FanDuel. You know, he might spell some of those minutes as well. And Otto Porter would have been interesting if Patrick Williams was out. But Thad Young and Gafford, man, I think these two guys are going to get me in trouble on FanDuel. 3,800 for Thad Young, by the way.
I like that Thad Young price. I think he's more likely to play more minutes than Gafford. Gafford's never been a big minutes guy.
Gafford's a young dude. I'm not too worried about that. But 25 minutes against the Rockets, Thad Young, 29 FanDuel points, and he's dropped 34. He's basically dropped 23 or more FanDuel points in all of his last 5 games except 13 minutes against OKC. And you take out Wendell Carter. So Thad Young, and we're getting some value here that I think is pretty solid on FanDuel.
Yeah. I mean, I'm with it. Again, like with Gafford and Cousins, I mean, we're going to bring up these centers, but again, you have guys like Capella getting the smash by Jokic. Am I really going to play 2 centers? I get the value. It screams Gafford's not going to get there for you today.
Gafford?
He never gets the double bonus. He's allergic to rebounding. He's definitely he's going to be a little scoring dependent for sure. With Zach LaVine chucking the shots, Kobe White chucking the shots, I feel like Gafford has a little more downside than people think.
I think he has more upside than you think.
3,100, getting wild ownership.
I mean, he's still a point per minute. Like now you can give him instead of 13, 16.
Like I mean, at 3,100, he gets you 24 DK. Like you're okay with that, but people would fade him.
You're hypothesizing the bare bones.
I mean, what are you projecting him for?
I mean, look at this game. It's a 228 total. Like this ain't some defensive juggernaut game. The Chicago Bulls. First of all, look at the team metrics tab. Chicago Bulls have the second fastest pace in basketball. Hornets are a little bit more league average. It's going to be a pace-up spot. The Hornets, Zeller be darned, they've never been just like the most elite rebounding team. They have just a 75% defensive rebounding rate. I don't know. I think I understand the trepidation, but also at the same time, I feel like you're projecting like the bare bones min worst case scenario. With that said, I'm going to have some Thad Young in the mix. Yeah. That I think is playable on DK, but that FanDuel price is I can't even like 38.
Yeah, I get FanDuel price a lot better. DK price at 47. It's just like if you get you 30, that's cool. That's great, but it's just whatever. Zach LaVine today. Am I going to get to a lot of Zach? I think. I mean, in Toronto, I think Kyle Lowry is most likely going to sit. So VanVleet's gonna jump off the page here. I mean, again, Charlotte's giving up a ton of point guards at 9.5 there, but if you play him, you're fading James Harden with no Kevin Durant, Trae Young with nobody in Atlanta, people still hurt. Kyrie Irving, no Durant. D'Angelo Russell gets Atlanta, so I think I might end up with no Zach LaVine. There's just other guys at that same price point who I like more. And the Charlotte side, I'm not playing LaMelo Ball. Please play him at 7.8 if you just want to pay the rake. It's just not happening. There's no way.
Now that you done put that out there, LaMelo's dropping 50 without a doubt.
Yeah, there's no. I mean, 25, 26, 23 minutes. If he goes for 50 and 25 minutes, all the power to you. I'm just not playing LaMelo Ball. Devontae Graham's price is nice though, I think.
So I agree with the Zach LaVine take. I do think the last couple slates that I've watched from a distance pre-flop, there's been spots where you just feel like we're overpaying, and because of the slate, we're accepting 4.5x value at a certain spot. So I think tonight's going to be your blow up night, right? Your 400 plus point. You have to get all of the ceiling.
Like a 9K guy needs to get you like close to 60. Take something down.
Yeah, I mean, you still get 50. You're in the hunt, but I'm saying like you're gonna have to have not high expectations, a high standard, like a high return on what you're paying for, right? If I'm paying 6K guys, I gotta get much less excited about 30 from a lot of my 6K range and stuff like that. I still think you get 50 from 9K.
Do you think these guards, like all these, like these 9, like from Doncic, Harden, Trae Young, Irving, Russell, Zach LaVine, Oladipo, all these guards become really chalky? Everyone's just going to plug in.
I think Harden,
Cousins, and Galfon at center.
Exactly.
And then
we're going to be top heavy at guard today in terms of ownership.
That's what I'm saying.
From my first peek, it seems like with Kevin Durant out, people are going to go after Harden, which is fine. I'm not. And then
makes sense.
We've got the center value to make it happen. So it just seems like the cookie cutter way to start your lineups tonight.
So if you want to be different, pay up for the bigs.
I mean, is there even a big to like invest in?
But I'm telling you, Capella can be a 60 bomb.
That's fair.
Yeah, Julius at 8-3, and I mean, he's a guy that could definitely break a slate for you, and you'll have a huge leverage on the field.
Build backwards. I'm with that.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's get caught up on chat here. Amir Easterly, Auto Reporter's best value. James Fenner says, Gary, take on that game. If no Turner in the middle, I would like Gordon in tournaments. All right. Josh Jennings, nice to be back. Hope you had a good trip, Gun. Had a great trip, Josh. I enjoyed it quite a bit. It's my first time. It was like, it's my first vacation in, forever. And it was fun. Nice snowy trip. Father and son sports cards. We want to see Danny's face in this video, Gun. I definitely need 100 likes for that. Y'all trying to see the old lady. You don't get it for free. Hold up. That's the word your autocorrect uses. Oh, no. I'm actually with Raj on Gafford. So Gafford could be underwhelming. Yeah. Another thing about Gafford. Let me just double check when it comes to some of these bigs. Let's see what their foulness is like. 2 fouls, 16, 2, 3. Yeah, maybe he gets in trouble. A little happy, but pre-flop, my algorithm's just going to love him, but also just love the idea of Thad Young. Next game on the docket, Brooklyn Nets at the Cleveland Cavaliers. Project starting 5 for the Nets, Kyrie Irving, James Harden, Joe Harris, Jeff Green, DeAndre Jordan taking on Darius Garland, maybe, Colin Sexton, Isaac Okoro, Larry Nance Jr., and Andre the Giant Drummond. 223 total, 6.5 point spread in favor of the Brooklyn Nets. That's a little different than the 14-point favorite that they were the other night against the Cleveland Cavaliers. KD's out of the mix. It's going to sit this one out. Naturally, we're expecting increased usage and increased ownership on not just James Harden, but Kyrie. James Harden's at almost 11K on both sites. So it's definitely one of those price points where I said earlier, I'm going to need the tippy top. The return on investment needs to be probably 7x here. Maybe I'll take a 60 bomb and work with that. But definitely think when you play James Harden, you're looking at perhaps instead of getting an 8 and 6K guy that have decent matchups today, you're hoping that James Harden absolutely blasts off.
You need like a 30-point triple double,
and that's not out of the range of possibilities here.
That seems very likely.
I got him for 38 minutes. It's the Cavs. Watch this be the game they blow out the Cavs in the last game. But so here's what I'm going to say. I expected the Nets to take a giant step backwards in defensive efficiency. Mm-hmm. You get Jared Allen out, you get Taurean Prince out, and you replace that with a James Harden. Who is the best defender on the Brooklyn Nets now? It's Kevin Durant. So now you take their best defender, potentially their only defensive-minded guy. Like the Nets could give up still, and the Cavs are so. It feels point JC because they were one of the worst offensive rating teams in the league. This Nets defense is not looking without KD. Oh my God! Yeah. So maybe we bite our lip here and double down on looking at some of these Cavs to hit for us. And I think guys like Larry Nance at 6'7" is somebody that potentially could get there now today. That maybe didn't get pure ceiling last game, and then Colin Sexton. Are we going to expect 60 points out of Sexton again? He had 63 fantasy points, 42 real ones. I do think 20 plus real points is in the cards here. With $7,300, I need it. I need it. But
I mean, I will say without the 2 overtimes last game, I don't think none of these guys were really getting there during the regular time. Everyone just kind of whatever. So I wouldn't be, I don't want to chase this game too much. Like you said, with no Durant, Brooklyn takes a step backwards. I mean, Seti Osman and Sexton, if you want a piece, sure. I'm not ready to play anybody else on the Cavs. I'm not going to be too heavy on them coming off a double overtime game where everyone's smashed. Brooklyn side, play Harden.
I like Larry Nance quite a bit. I think Nance is that dude for me here. It's 7-1, 67. Maybe DraftKings price is a little bit better, but
that front court is so crowded.
I mean, he still got the bulk of the minutes. I get it. I think essentially, is it really that crowded though, or did JaVale McGee just get canned? He got 13 minutes in an OT game against, or no, that was against the Knicks. So he was DNP and he hasn't played since the 15th. So did Jared Allen just take over JaVale McGee, and then we split the difference? So I like Larry Nance quite a bit. I think this Nets defense is just going to be non-existent.
I hear you. Would you play Kyrie and Harden together?
I think it's viable. I think I was playing Kyrie and KD, right? I was playing. You take the 2 highest usage guys. These two, I got 36 and 38 minutes. For you, they combine for probably 100 minimum, and then probably 120, 130 even as a. Yeah. I got them for 50. Yeah, if you put them together and get 130, and you still got Boogie and Gafford or somebody like that, I think you could play them together.
I can see that. Don't hate it.
It seems like we're playing 2 high ISO ball guys, and at the end of the night, we might regret it when one has 50, one has 70. But
yeah, I mean, they both might chuck the ball 30 times. I mean, Joe Harris is going to chuck a little bit, but other than that, nobody else on this team I can really see chucking too many shots.
Right.
DeAndre Jordan, I'm probably not going to get there just because center, it's just so, like I said, the value guys pay up. He might have to play the 30-plus minutes just because I don't think they have anybody else who can really size up with the Cavs. Like Jeff Green. Like they have nobody else with size, so I think he might have to play 30, 35 minutes.
Yeah,
other than that,
I'm with that.
Again, it's tough to play him. Play James Harden, play Kyrie on the Cleveland side. Mention Nats. I'm gonna have to wait and see how the cookie crumbles with that one.
There's no way I'm waiting and seeing on anyone against the Nets in this spot.
Like 1v1 Osman versus Nance.
It's
I think I like Osman.
I don't. I think Osman was a benefactor of Darius Garland being out. If Darius Garland's out again, sure, but I don't.
Is he expected in now? So
I got him questionable.
Oh, expects Garland to play. Oh wait, so yeah, JB Bickerstaff says he expects Garland to play. Okay, so if he's playing,
if
I can just cross out everyone.
No, Larry Nance. Osman was Osman was benefiting from playing the entire game, and they had no guards. Like this isn't like I don't know who you think Jetty Osman is, but relax.
Nance gets there when he his big games occur when he gets those assists. I just think with Garland and Sexton back.
No, what Nance get double? Okay, he doesn't need to. He can get 40 on a double-double here. Like 15, 10. He can get 20 and 10 in this matchup.
You really like
the pace is gonna be up. It's like. The Brooklyn Nets are just this can be run and gun basketball, and the Cavs have to play catch up. Yeah. Larry Nance in a fast paced game, I'm a buyer, and I will not. I don't think you wait. It's not waiting and seeing on Nance. I think you're striking this Nets defense. Like without Kevin Durant, this could be the worst defense in basketball.
Okay, looking at the power forward position, Nance 6'7". Okay, he seems like he's on a bit of an island. No one's jumping off the page in the power forward spot. I mean, Porzingis maybe. Because you're not playing him at a center spot.
No. But I got 2 forward spots to play with. Give it to me.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
I'm a buyer.
I get it.
Not a whole lot of fast-paced matchups in the last 10 for him either, other than Brooklyn. Yeah, I don't know. It's not a tier 1, but I'm playing him. You know, I'm a buyer. Darius Garland, if he played right now, and I told you he's at 32 minutes against Kyrie and James Harden defense, how like sneaky does that feel?
He just fit well. The guard 6'3", got to that 30+ upside. Don't hate it.
Shadow Stefan, who would you take for a prop bet? Irving over 26.5 points or Harden over 27.5? Probably Harden, but I actually wouldn't be surprised if they both hit. Like if they both had 30+ real points.
Let me see what you're left with that price. You get Cousins in.
Oh, you out here with the wheels turning. I'm digging it.
I just want to say you get both those guys in there, and you are left with 56.75 on DK. It's not too bad.
Yeah, and
no one Oladipo.
There'll be more value. I mean, this is a giant slate.
Yeah.
Let's move on to the next game. Boston Celtics at the Philadelphia 76ers. Project starting 5 for the Celtics. Kemba Walker, Marcus Smart, Jaylen Brown, Grant Williams, Tristan Thompson. Taking on Ben Simmons, Seth Curry, Danny Green, Tobias Harris, Joel Embiid. 2-2-2 and another 1-2 is our total 4.5 point spread in favor of the Philadelphia 76ers. Philadelphia. Joel Embiid, 10K against the Celtics front court. No one on the planet is playing Joel Embiid today.
Facts.
Are we shocked when he has 60?
No, I mean, give me that Joel Embiid, Clint Capella, both 65.
Yeah.
I'll take that.
Might be fun to find some value guards and build backwards lineups and like single entry.
That is definitely the way to go. I mean, Joel Embiid should actually smash this Boston front court. Nobody there to stop him. I mean, how much Embiid can you really realistically get to?
I mean, I'm not gonna be. I probably don't play any, but I'm saying
that's crazy.
Just from a game theory standpoint. You think that's crazy? Because I'm downright locking Boogie. Like I just gotta lock it.
Yeah, Boogie. And
I get the volatility on like a Gafford or something like that. I understand that. I'm locking Boogie. So I got 50% of my center spots, my center options, right? Center util. I'm just locked away on that. So Joel Embiid, I'm just speaking on the idea of like a Joel Embiid or a Jokic, all these high 80 fantasy point upside guys that just might.
Yeah, you can't be talking them up and then just be like.
I'm not talking them up. I'm talking game theory here, man. No one's gonna get to the people are like the average lineup is high guard, low center. You build it backwards, and Embiid is one of those guys. But I'll say this: if I was gonna build bottom up lineups, I'd probably start with like a Jokic, maybe a Randall, but even Randall's forward eligible.
Randall fits forward nicely. Yeah, I do like Randall.
I'm a little less excited. I mean, just generally speaking, like I'm a little less excited about this game just because it's the Celtics 76ers, and the Sixers are getting close to full strength. So,
looking at the prices, I could just fade this game. I
probably will. I do feel like, at the end of the day, there's going to be one or two that slip through as a great play. I'm just hoping there's not a slate breaker on an 11-game slate that I have.
Daniel Dice had 40 last game against Philly. Seems like a bit of an anomaly, but...
Yeah, a little anomaly.
10 for 11 shooting. Yeah, definitely is. Not going to touch the Tobias Harrises of the world today or Ben Simmons. They can be fine. I just don't think they smash at their price. Jaylen Brown's been getting some love. He's one of those guards, again, with no Tatum. He should run the show. Kemba Walker, minutes limit is going up. Kemba at 6'5" is interesting. See him versus like a Garland. He is at 6'5". They said his minutes limit is going up to 25 to 28. I think he's still capped though. 6,500.
6K? Yeah, I probably still play Darius Garland in that range. But then I might be a buyer on like a Devontae Graham in that total. So I can't play a under 30-minute cap guy on this slate. I gotta have no glass ceilings, man. Give me some.
I hear you. Yeah, you know what? This game might just be a cross-off.
It probably is.
When Jaylen Brown has 50-point upside, I'm not gonna.
Yeah, I think Jaylen would be the one you could make a case for.
Yeah.
He's at 8,500 though. That's Oladipo, right? That's Brogdon. That's Jeremy Grant to me. Like all those guys feel a little bit stronger. So I just might be the low guy here.
Seth Curry's back for Philly too. So I think that takes away a little bit from everyone.
Yeah, I'm probably down to chat. You guys disagree with us on this one? Let me know.
Let's cross out the game. Gotta cross out some games. It's too big.
I agree. Chop it up. Chop it up. James Fenner says that Nets defense is getting pretty close to Kings and T-Wolves. Got to play a Cav or two tonight. I think so too. Like I think I could see Darius Garland, Larry Nance falling into a couple of my lineups, and I'm like, all right, let's get weird with it. And
How strong are you on Larry Nance? Like, you going to be a tier 2 30%er, 40%er?
He'll definitely be tier 2. I might cap him at 32 where I land, but it's not like I don't know. Let me revisit that at the end of the slate. But I just feel like the spot. I mean, this Nets team is going to.
Look, Brooklyn might be the worst defensive team in the league with the bodies they have.
Yeah, and then you just got to play catch up. And you got to shoot out with them. Even Drummond, I might be sleeping on Drummond to an extent. Yeah.
Center spot.
Exactly. Can't give it the center spot, so let me play forward. Let's move on to the next game here. Miami Heat at the Toronto Raptors. Project starting 5 for the Heat. Maybe Tyler Hero. I think he's questionable. Gabe Vincent. Maybe Duncan Robinson. Kelly Olynyk. Bam Adebayo taking on Kyle Lowry. Fred VanVleet. OG Anunoby. Pascal Siakam. And Aaron Baines. Let's go pull up the injury report here for the Raptors. We've got a couple cues. This starting 5 for the Raptors might look a little bit different. And potentially we might get our hands on maybe like a Norman Powell at 4,300 on DraftKings to kind of offset some of that value. So start with Kyle Lowry. He's dealing with right foot soreness. This comes from the official injury report, so we don't have much to go on. Lowry did shoot 2 of 12 in his last outings against the Miami Heat. So maybe the foot was an issue, blah, blah, blah. Pascal Siakam dealing with a groin injury, groin soreness. He did not practice Thursday. He's questionable. He took a hard fall during Wednesday's loss to the Heat. He said after the game that his groin was bothering him. He didn't practice on Thursday, and no decision has been made. So I would definitely lean, like if I had to guess just based off of that literature, I'd probably lean Siakam a little closer to out than in. And I don't know what to make of the Lowry thing. But nonetheless, if either
midday questionable, I think he's leaning out, especially Lowry at his age.
Was he downgraded midday?
It just came out. Yeah, he just went to questionable.
Okay, well, yeah, if you midday, I lean you out. So, if one or the other, if not both, are out, I mean, this opens up a ton of minutes and responsibility for Fred VanVleet, and then Siakam's a guy I think I would put him out as is. Chris Boucher lines up at 7'8", 7'3". Now the matchup,
he's trappy. Yeah, the matchup isn't pristine.
But he has shown us to be just a point per minute fantasy.
Struggled last game against Miami too. He has the worst game in weeks.
Yeah, but the concept is still there. And then if a Lowry's out, you probably see a guy like Norman Powell sliding to the starting lineup and just kind of be a player. Now let's go look at the Miami Heat injury report because they've got some names to look out for. Tyler Hero, I think, is probably the more interesting name. He's dealing with neck spasms. He's considered to be questionable for this game. He has missed Miami's last 3 games due to neck spasms, but he was able to go through practice on Thursday without any issues. Should he be cleared to play, Goran Dragic would most likely be moved back to his usual 6-man role, and Dragic would still offer. Okay. So watch for Tyler Hero to make a return. And then other than that, I mean, this game, it feels another X-off game for me, just on the surface, but I think once names start getting confirmed out, I'd probably have to, like, if I knew Siakam was out, and even if I thought Boucher was a little bit on the inside, OG Anunoby at 6K is, that's not a fun click, but 30+ is there for him. And then Adebayo is another guy I might get down with. I got him for 42 fantasy points right now. That's not something to write home about at his price point right now, and you're probably never going to get to him.
You're not playing Bam Adebayo today.
Not on DraftKings. Not on DraftKings.
Yeah.
Probably not on either side, but I mean, 50+ in 2 of his last 3 games, and against Toronto, he shot just 6 for 14. So if we move that to a 9 for 14, like we had been doing, he could be flirting with 50. And he's knocking on the door of a triple-double, man. So I don't know. Hero might take away some of his assist upside. I don't know. But I think there's a case for him. So I isolate this game. There's a case for him. What do you do with the Raptors? If you knew, I'm thinking Siakam sits. I don't know about Lowry. I'm not going to count Lowry out, but I'm thinking Siakam sits.
I think Lowry sits more likely than Siakam sits. So I'm locking in VanVleet.
Why do you think that, though? Like, what?
just a midday questionable downgrade. His age. I'm building lineups as with Lowry being out.
Okay.
As right now. So give me all the Van Vliet. Probably just gonna lock him in. If Siakam sits too, I mean, look at OG how consistent he's been, even with those guys 34, 35, 34, 30. I mean, he's just been solid, seeing the minutes. I think you have to play him with no Siakam. You throw in Powell. These lineups just build themselves. Like it's just so. I mean, I probably won't. Boucher just worries me, especially with Bam. And again, center spot on DK. But I take that risk. I mean, could he get you a 50? Sure. But I just think Van Vliet, OG, I think Powell, they can all get there at their prices. So give me those three. Miami side, if Tyler Hero sits again, give me all the Kendrick Nunn. Spat to back great games. He's chucking. He's kind of leading the show in terms of controlling the ball. Give me some of him. Goran Dragic, 30-plus minutes. Give me like consistent 30s. 6K now, so he's not going to kill you. I think one of these days he'll get you a 40-plus. So if you want Dragic in there, don't hate it. I think it's just Nunn and Dragic for me on Miami and Toronto side if those guys are out.
Let me throw this at you. If Lowry sits, right?
Yeah.
And Norman Powell starts.
Yeah.
How crazy is Terrence Davis? Like, how crazy?
I mean, he's a chucker. He's definitely a chucker. At 3,400 point guard, shooting guard. I mean, man, so that point guard, shooting guard spot, you want Harden in there. You'd want Van Vliet. You start to run out. There's some other guys. You're giving up a D'Angelo Russell against the Hawks. You're giving up Trae Young. You're giving up some guys. I get it, and he can get there for you. I just want to see versus what you're giving up and what you'll get. So if you're playing him,
I think if you're gonna build one of those backwards lineups where you're going high center, low guard, he could be in the mix. I mean, it's not a safe play, but points.
What if you play him with Cousins and Galfond?
I mean, that'll ease the stress on a Harden.
Yeah.
Just a thought. What's up, Giuliano? Danny Villalobos.
How much Van Vliet would you have if Lowry sits? Like he becomes a tier 1 core.
Does he though?
I mean,
I think his floor is sky high, right? But if you sat out on Van Vliet, and we're talking plus minus 500 DraftKings dollars, that's Oladipo, right?
I think 7,850 bomb.
Let me see. Let me just look in the wheelhouse here. Van Vliet 7.8. So
I mean, I think he would be a core with
more.
Oladipo.
I mean, sure.
At that point guard, shooting guard spot, Oladipo, Van Vliet, bada bing, bada boom.
I think there's a chance like he could be a solid 45. Like I don't know.
Yeah, which doesn't kill
I'm
you.
with it. Like the floor seems super high. Like in cash, I'd probably just buy it. But
yeah,
I think there's still a range of outcomes where he's not like an incredible tournament ceiling play. But you can go give me that 40. Let's play.
And I want to say without Butler, this Miami team's defense isn't as rock solid.
Okay, if Lowry and Siakam were out, you
have to have two Raptors?
Do you think the Raptors were 2-point favorites?
I mean, Miami's out some body too.
Yeah.
If Tyler Hero sits, I'd still probably make them a favorite.
Okay, all right, that's weird.
And how much OG Anunoby then if Siakam sits?
So if we're playing some minutes here, right? Boucher at the 5. If Siakam sits, Aaron Baines might get forced into minute. They waived Alex Len, right? He's already signed with a new squad.
Yeah. I mean, I think they might play OG at the 4, and like Powell and Davis or Watson or one of those guys comes in at the 2 guard.
Mm-hmm.
Matt Thomas. That's interesting. If both those guys sit, that's definitely a slate changer. But I would build around Van Vliet and OG. I've seen OG's been so consistent. I haven't even realized he's been this consistent.
I like OG a lot on FanDuel because he gets the stocks like crazy.
He's been scoring too. He's doing his thing.
The Heat actually turned the ball over 10 times a game. They're allowing 10.2 steals per game.
I mean,
rather
they have been missing like their point guards for the past 10 games, or a lot.
Yeah, they're leading the league in steals allowed per game. So another check mark there for like Anunoby and even Even Van Vliet's averaging over a steal per game, so I'm with that. AD says, Gunn, can you sign a pair of my boxers and send them back? Are they used?
Do what you gotta do.
I got you, dog. I got you. My girl's she's still unpacking, walking around the background. Atlanta Hawks. Got to think about blowout risk if the starters are out. Stanley Johnson.
Blowout risk? These are two teams that are shorthanded.
I mean, if Hero plays, they're just down Butler, and yeah, that's a big hit. But I don't know. But if the Raptors are without Lowry and Siakam, that's 70 minutes of starter to fill in, right? Atlanta Hawks at the Minnesota Timberwolves. This game has a lower total than I thought it would. Project starting five for the Hawks: Trae Young, Cam Reddish Jr., DeAndre Hunter, John Collins, Clint Capella, taking on D'Angelo Russell, Malik Beasley, Josh Okogie, Jared Vanderbilt, Naz Reid. We got 225.5 total. 6-point spread in favor of the Atlanta Hawks. We do have a couple Q tags there. Gallows, midday questionable. Reddish and Hunter, both questionable. Chris Dunn inactive still. And then Bogdanovich also inactive. So what you see is what you get for the most part when it comes to the Hawks starters. I got Trae Young at 36 minutes. DeAndre Hunter at 35. Clint Capella is absolutely on a tear right now. He's moved to 9,200 on FanDuel, 83 on DraftKings. I got him for just over 40 fantasy points on either site, which makes him a better play on DraftKings. But we have seen some ceiling games from Capella lately, including that just incredible explosion in his last game out. 27 real points, 26 rebounds, shot 10 for 18, and then this has to be a career high, 7 for 12 from the free throw line. Hack a Capella, who just did not work there. But 76 fantasy points, just an incredible game. Also got 5 blocks. So if you want to curtain call that, that's cool. 50-plus fantasy points in 3 games straight. The matchups have just been really, really positive, and including a matchup where he played against these T-Wolves. And I think what we really like here is these minutes. These minutes are just insane right now. Like I said, I was making a Hawks minute projections earlier today, and I was like, how many minutes do I give Rondo? How many minutes do I give him? I was like, man, the Hawks are just not – like, is Tom Thibodeau coaching right now? Like, the Hawks are just not sharing minutes with anybody. And it's like your starters are out there just soaking it in. So that's what I'm looking at. Kevin Huerter, he was just 9K, bro. And now he's all the way down to
9,500.
Yeah, Huerter played the 6th man. And then on the T-Wolf side, D-Russ is in the mix here. I still think I just land to like Depot, Brogdon, or somebody like that, just to feel a little bit safer. But D-Russ absolutely right there in the mix. The Hawks defensive rating, I think, is better than like most people just think. Atlanta has a top 10 defensive efficiency. So I think people might sleep on that. And then the Minnesota Timberwolves without Cat, their offensive rating on the season just with and without Cat is 105 points per 100 possessions. So I think there's a chance that Atlanta could run away with this game, or just Minnesota could underperform. I don't think I'm going to be spinning the wheel and making deals with too many Timberwolves.
Who's in for Atlanta? Like if Reddish is out again, DeAndre Hunter is out again.
I think if Collins and Capella is in, I think that, that's the backbone of the D right there.
Yeah.
So I could see myself. I mean, D. Russ makes a case. Malik Beasley's a little curious on FanDuel. I would not be shocked if I have no Timberwolves tonight, and I
really like D'Angelo Russell. He's one of those 8K guys I think could outscore a Oladipo, a Van Vliet, even a Kyrie, at that price point. So I'm gonna have some of him. Capella's the guy I'm just so scared to fit. Like he just, like I said, the tear, the matchup, it just screams 20-20 spot. Break the slate at 50+ 60 bomb. So I'll definitely have some shares of Capella. He might be my 3rd highest known center after Cousins and Gafford.
What if he was 9,200?
If he was 9,200. Yeah, I mean that 9K price tag would be a little worrisome, but again, he's been that's a deserved price.
Yeah. Minnesota top 10 in blocks allowed per game, 5.7. Clint Capella could also curtain call the block game. He's averaging
give him
1.7
more
blocks per game this season. So yeah, I like the thought of Capella on DraftKings. I also could just see, one value center and one guy like Capella. I think.
Yeah.
I would hate to miss out on it does look like Capella's on his way to being a 9+ K player. So
yeah,
might as well take it.
We've been playing him. I think everyone on Run DFS has been playing him this past week.
Yeah, those
so
are nice.
Keep riding the train.
Other than D Russ, if you had 20 or less lines, is there any Timberwolf that's in it?
No, I mean, like I said, 150 plus. If you want some Beasley, go ahead. But other than D Russ, no one catch my eye.
Let's move on to the next game here. Let me get caught up on chat. He says, how did Hack Capella not work? Shot 58%. Yeah, man, 58%. That's almost at LeBron levels. Doesn't LeBron shoot like 70? Derrick Rose against the garbage Houston team without Wood. Rose, Victor Oladipo stack. You mean against each other? Christian Wood out doesn't. I don't know if I'm interpreting that the right way, Giuliano. The idea of Derrick Rose is there, but I think you got to get really solid with your minutes. I kind of like my favorite Piston is Jeremy Grant by a mile, but I get it. Dallas Mavericks at the San Antonio Spurs. Project starting 5 for the Mavs. Luka Doncic, Jalen Brunson, Tim Hardaway Jr., Kristaps Porzingis, Willie Cauley-Stein taking on Dejounte Murray, Lonnie Walker, DeMar DeRozan, Keldon Johnson, LaMarcus Aldridge. 223 is our total 2.5 point spread in favor of the visiting Dallas Mavericks. This is interesting. That's weird. That's suspicious. Everyone's playing James Harden in value centers. Luka Doncic does still exist on the planet of NBA. 10.9K. How many times does Luka Doncic just straight up outscore James Harden today? I don't think there's a right or wrong answer. We're just thinking it through in a vacuum. Is there any viability, Raj, that in you playing Luka over James Harden?
Yeah.
San Antonio is not world beaters on defense. 108.
No, they're not. They're not. It's just obviously with Porzingis back and playing almost his full allotment of minutes. I think his scoring upside's down. I think some of the assists and rebounds will be there. James Harden obviously I think has a higher upside in the spot. But do I want to fully fade Luka? No, and I think you can still get to him. I mean, like you said, pay down percenters, have 10%, maybe 20% Luka. Don't hate it. I do like Porzingis though at this price, especially power forward position. So you can fit him in nicely. 8K, played 32 minutes the past couple of games. It's San Antonio. Has San Antonio giving it up to power forwards? Let's bring that up on the Run DFS. And San Antonio is they're middle pack 17th overall. I guess Aldridge does a decent job. But I mean, I still think at 8K, could he get you a 50 bomb? Is probably what you need. Yeah, so give me some Porzingis. I'll probably have more Porzingis than Luka.
I'll say this about that DVP that you looked at. I always put context of DVP. Last 5 power forwards against San Antonio, Draymond Green, not a world beater for DFS. Robert Covington, 2 games of PJ Tucker, and then and then Darius Baisley. So a little bit of a easier stretch when it comes to.
I thought PJ Tucker listed as a center for.
Nah, he's been playing power forward.
Okay, yeah. In that case, yeah. I mean, I think I like Porzingis even more at that price tag. Give me some of him. San Antonio side, I think they're interesting because Dallas not really a good defensive team. Aldridge has 5,500.
So I think Dallas with Porzingis is a much better defensive team than you think. Already 5,500. Already their top 10 defensive rating. And that's, how many games of that with limited Porzingis or no Porzingis. I think you put it together. I think this is a stronger defense than you might think.
No, 100%. Porzingis is definitely a defensive stopper. Indiana still shoot. I mean, they're still giving up points with Porzingis.
And one thing I love about Porzingis, we saw it last year, is this guy gets blocks for days. I think it's one of his more sneaky stats that he gets. Yeah. I mean, you just look at this block column, almost 2 blocks per game, every game so far. And as the minutes grow, check out this matchup today against the San Antonio Spurs when it comes to blocks allowed per game. The San Antonio Spurs allow the 4th most blocks per game in basketball at 6.1. So Porzingis could certainly jump up there on FanDuel at 8.4 and just fill up the stocks column with just a little bit more to maybe get you that 45, 50 fantasy point upside against a team that just really has no answer for him. So
I think points per dollar Porzingis might be my favorite power forward.
Here's a combo. We talked about playing Kyrie and James Harden together. You can play Luka and Porzingis together, and you still might get that same 100, 120. It's a little bit cheaper too because the Kyrie versus Porzingis, right?
Yeah,
Kyrie?
yeah.
I like it.
Kind of like James Harden and Porzingis together. Just pick one of those. Yeah, pick one from each team and pair it with the other guy from the other team.
No. Spurs. I might be down on Spurs here. Aldridge is at a very, very low DraftKings price. 55. 5,500, man.
He could burn us or he could win it.
Bro, him and Blake Griffin are lurking. They're lurking. I feel like you just want a piece of that. And then if we go to DVP, where's the leakiest leak part of Dallas defensively? It's just really been the front court. So, oh my, get me away from Aldridge. But I wouldn't be shocked if I'm down to almost no exposure to Spurs when it's all said and done, right? Let's move on to the next game. Oklahoma City Thunder at the Los Angeles Clippers. Projects 35 for the Thunder. SGA, George Hill, Lou Dort, Darius Baisley, Isaiah Roby taking on Patrick Beverly, Paul George, Kawhi Leonard, Nick Batum, Serge Ibaka. 11-game slate. This is our only double-digit spread, 13-point spread in favor of the Clippers. So it's easy to write this one off. I've been playing SGA. I think I can pivot elsewhere at that price range. We talked about several viable options, including Fred VanVleet. Like, there's no reason I would play SGA here with this spread, with VanVleet on the board, with or without Lowry or Siakam. Lou Dort, the Ham Diallo sweepstakes, I get it. If you're trying to win 100K, sure. On the Clippers side, Paul George is 8.793. He's been balling. Nick Batum was downgraded to questionable for personal reasons. So maybe there's a chance Nick Batum is out. Maybe Marcus Morris gets a couple extra minutes in that regard. Maybe Serge Ibaka plays a couple of power forward minutes or Kawhi has to stretch out. So maybe Batum does open up, 25, 26 minutes to kind of project to somebody to do a little bit better. But I think, you have your minimal shares of Paul George and Kawhi just by design here. Is there any Thunder that you get to? Like, am I sleeping on SGA? Am I just not respecting the Thunder enough here? I think if we look at their game log here, the 19th. So it's not like they're on a back-to-back. They're just like severe underdogs here. And I just don't think I'm going to get to.
Yeah, SGA, he's there, but I could see him getting, locked down a little bit against Kawhi Leonard or Paul George.
Or Beverly.
Or Beverly, too. So his upside may be a little limited there. I think Isaiah Roby, 5K power forward. I think there's a little meat on the bone there. Again, not the best matchup, so not in love with it. This game might be a scratch off. We scratched off one game. Do we scratch off a second one?
If Nick Batum was out, I'd be a little interested in Marcus Morris. I feel like I could stretch that 27 to a 32 or 34.
Yeah, you know what? At 4-4, decent value there. Don't hate it. Yeah, if he's out, maybe a little boost to a Kawhi Leonard. How much Kawhi are people going to get to today? You can see if you pay down for center, or pay up for small forward Kawhi. So if Batum is out, some Kawhi and some Marcus Morris, but no tier one. Probably have no one in this game above 20%, if that.
Yeah. Yeah, that's probably where I'm at. It's a 10 p.m. game, so we're out here seeking the late night hammers. Makes sense. I also don't even know that we would have that Nick Batum news with ample amount of time to react to it pre-lock. And it's not like Marcus Morris will break a slate, but I think there's a shot at 30 fantasy points, so we're just looking for a forward value play, right? Let's go home. Yo, Giuliano with the super chat, $4.99, man. I appreciate that. That's love. Giuliano says, "My bad, gun." Let me open that up. I met Rose and Victor Oladipo in the same lineup tonight. Love that game. I definitely love that game as well. There's a couple games so far that we've talked about that I think are really attackable and stackable. Certainly the Pistons and the Rockets stick out like a sore thumb. Plenty of guys. I'm loving Jeremy Grant, loving Depot, Boogie. Makes a lot of sense to target a guy like Derrick Rose. His minutes maybe not, warm and fuzzy. But if Josh Jackson were out again or something like that, sure I could get to him. And then the other game I like a decent chunk was the Bulls and the Hornets. Feel like there's enough meat to run like a 2v2, and even the Cavs. I think I could get behind like a Garland Nance versus two of the Nets, likely a Kyrie and James. So plenty of games on the slate where I can isolate lineups to kind of core around that stuff. But I appreciate that super chat, Giuliano. You were a real one for that. Much love, much love. Let's get to the Suns hosting the Denver Nuggets. Project starting five for the Nuggets: Jamal Murray, Gary Harris, Will Barton, Paul Millsap, and Nikola Jokic taking on Chris Paul, Devin Booker, Mikal Bridges, Cameron Johnson, and DeAndre. What? What am I doing? I put DeAndre Johnson. Excuse me. DeAndre Ayton. DeAndre Ayton. We got 220 total, 1.5 point spread in favor of the Phoenix Suns. So a meager total. We're putting two teams that are a little bit plus defensively. I guess the Nuggets their defensive ratings dropped to almost 112. Watch the Nuggets situation. Michael Porter Jr. might play. That might move Will Barton back to the bench here. I think with the Nuggets right now on this slate, really just any slate, is all right. Do I get to Jokic? And if Harris and or Michael Porter are out, really Michael Porter and potentially a Harris. Will Barton's just been kind of a stocking stuffer for me. That Phoenix Suns defense though, is definitely still up there. They had a tough road stretch here, but Phoenix is hanging on to top 10 defensive rating, so it's not something I want to just like pick on with some of these supplementary plays, but no one's going to play Jokic, right? Jokic, just in the alone sentence on this Friday night slate, Nikola Jokic could be the highest fantasy point scorer, right?
Yeah.
Like that sentence is not like crazy. And because of the center value, the Boogies and the Daniel Gafford, stuff like that, Jokic's ownership is going to plummet. So I don't disagree with it, and I'm likely going to lean on that center value quite a bit as well. But I'm just saying, in a statement, just like putting it out there, like Jokic could be the highest raw fantasy point scorer tonight, even in this tough matchup. So might be worth getting a little piece of them if you're running 100, 150. You don't have to go crazy to leverage the field either. Like I think even if you had 5, 8, 10% in 150 lineups, you don't feel terrible. You get a nice little late night hammer to mix into some of your table setters, and you go from there. If we look at this team DVP chart in the RunDFS.com NBA VIP spreadsheet, the Phoenix Suns really have no red here to attack. It makes a lot of sense. So we go to the Denver Nuggets, point guard and small forward. I've been there more red issues, but point guards are giving up the fifth most fantasy points per game to opposing point guards. Maybe you make a loose case for a Chris Paul or Devin Booker, but generally speaking, I just think there's going to be virtually no ownership out of this game unless something crazy happened, like a Paul or somebody sat. You can make a case for Cam Johnson for value if you really wanted to stretch out, but I think this could be one of those games that just non-existent, and I can't see anybody in this game really having double-digit ownership, right? Like I just don't. I don't see.
I mean, this game, I almost want to cross this game out too. If Michael Porter Jr. is back, I get Jokic, but again, that center spot, giving it up, he's 11K2. I mean, 1v1 versus Embiid, I'll probably maybe go Jokic just a tad, but with that 1K price bump, I don't know. I mean, Jokic versus Luka, I'll probably take Luka. This game just might be a cross-off for me. Ayton got their last game, played him against Houston. Houston just giving up the bigs. Don't expect him to do the same against Denver. Chris Paul at 7-2. I keep wanting to think he has upside at that price. He just has not flashed upside.
He's 6'9" on FanDuel too, man.
He hasn't gone over 40 in any of his passing games. So it's just a wait and see approach now to see if he'll ever reach that upside consistently again. I think this game's a cross-off.
For the most part, yeah. The tournament mind in me wants a piece of Jokic, but I'm not pushing the issue here. We've got one game left on the docket. Take a pause for the cause. Plug the RunDFS.com NBA VIP. After the stream, after the party, it's the after party. And then after the party, it's the... Come Come on, Raj.
The live voice chat.
No, what? It's the hotel lobby. Come on, bro.
Oh, you want me to do a song?
You don't even know.
I mean,
let's pull up
it's been a while with that
DFS.com. VIP. Ed said you ain't the one. We'll be in the RunDFS.com NBA VIP Discord. Would love for you guys to come be part of it. Have some fun with us. We got a screenshot of Jonathan's autocorrect. That was hilarious. You guys want to come join a fun community of DFS grinders, all different bankroll levels. We got millionaires literally always be placing. We got guys out here that's hit the 100K a few times. Last night, shout out to Aaron, CO. He's one of the Year Pass subscribers. He banked a tournament on FanDuel last night. He took home a couple grand. So shout out to him. We just, people out here are getting it done. So if you guys want to be part of this community, we would love to have you. Every day before lock, we have a 2-hour pre-lock voice chat. You guys can jump in. You can listen into, or you can grab a mic, jump in there, just chop it up with us. We got a really fun community playing on both sites, and those chats get a little bit fraternal, a little bit laid back. We have some fun. It's a family, and I'm sure this will be my first full. I guess I was here yesterday, but this will be the first full voice chat since coming back from Minnesota. So I'm sure there might be some stories to tell from that. So come hang out with us. We'd love to have you. In addition to access to the RunDFS.com NBA VIP Discord, you get access to all of my proprietary spreadsheets. Got it for NBA. We're gonna have NFL, basically the last NFL slate other than Super Bowl showdown this weekend. We have coverage for that. I did really well last week. I don't know if it was luck or not, but I was just on the right spots and not on the wrong spots. Like Michael Thomas, I didn't even think I had Michael Thomas, and boy did that turn out well. But hopefully this week's another strong week for NFL. NASCAR's on the cusp, man. NASCAR really soon. So come be part of what we got going on. I think I left the year pass what it was. I had made some discounted prices while I was gone, just in case people were still joining because y'all were still grinding. I left the year pass at $550. So if you guys want to take sign up for the year like some of these other guys, and you just know you're going to be locked up for the rest of the NBA full baseball season, essentially the next full NFL season, and all that stuff in between. We'd love to have you. So go check that out. Go to RunDFS.com, make yourself an account, and get signed up. Anyway, what else we got before we get in this main chat? Nope, that's it. All right. Last game tonight, the New York Knicks, night 2 of a back-to-back, taking on Sacramento Kings. Project starting 5 for the Knicks: Elfrid Payton, Reggie Bullock, R.J. Barrett, Julius Randle, and Mitchell Robinson taking on De'Aaron Fox, Buddy Hield, Harrison Barnes, Marvin Bagley, and Rashawn Holmes. Got 218.5 total, 4-point spread in favor of the Sacramento Kings. So we talked about no one playing high-priced centers, right? And everyone's at the value. And then those 8K guys like Adebayo, no one gets to. But if we look at that team DVP chart, and we go to fantasy points allowed, the Knicks are right up in that redness, man. No one's getting to Rashawn Holmes, and the best path to success against this Knicks just generally, look at all this green, and then boom, red for the center spot. Rashawn Holmes, 50 bomb at no ownership? Is that
I get it. I mean, I kind of like these Sacramento guys. Rashawn Holmes, like I said, has that upside here, 6'3". No one's going to play him. So, I mean, give me some Rashawn Holmes. De'Aaron Fox, I think, is another interesting one, 8'8". I think this is a 50-point spot for him, possibly. Coming off 77 and a 40, don't expect 77, but 40 plus. You probably want the 50 at that price tag. Give me some of him. New York side, give me all the Randle. I just think it's a smash spot for Randle. 9-1. The minutes will be there. He took 11 shots and got 53 last game. I expect the shots a bit of a shot bump here. So, and he fits nicely beside those centers. You can pay off for him. RJ Barrett, I think, is interesting.
So if you look at the team metrics chart in RunDFS.com NBA VIP spreadsheet, we go to defensive rating. Sacramento, not only are they the worst defense in basketball, but it's literally not close. 120.8 points per 100 possessions. The next closest 115.2. They're giving up over 5 more points per 100 possessions than the Wizards. Like, this defense is bad. And I know the Knicks are on nights of a back-to-back, and no one wants to play Knicks, but they're getting Tom Thibodeau minutes against the worst defense in the league. Yeah, Randall might go bananas. And I haven't been playing R.J. Barrett at nearly 7K, but this might be a spot to consider him. And Mitchell Robinson's in the mix as well. I think anyone that you put here for me pre-flop at any decent minute, like 30 plus, I'm in the mix, and I might even have like a loose interest in like a Reggie Bullock on FanDuel. Yesterday you saw Alec Burks come back. I think we should mention that Burks' return also coincided with Emmanuel quickly, taking a step backwards in minutes and usage. So watch that. But we did see Raj Nerlens Noel yesterday going off
That's exciting.
the charts. And maybe it's point chasey to curtain call it, and we don't need another value center. But in 20 minutes against Golden State yesterday, dropped 30 fantasy points with 4 blocks, 11 boards, 6 rebounds. That's extremely high efficiency from a fantasy point perspective. But if there's any team that would allow something like that to happen again, it's the Sacramento Kings. If we go to that team metrics chart, blocks allowed per game, the Sacramento Kings are about league average of 5.3, but they're still over 5. So I could get to that, and they're also allowing over 8 steals per game. So maybe Noel just by himself outscore Gafford, and just the thought of it is possible. But I think last night was a little bit stealing and maybe perhaps anomalic, but plenty of meat on the bone here for the Knicks. It is a night 2 of a back-to-back, but they were off for a couple days before that. They played the 18th, so 19, 20. They had 2 days off, and then back-to-back, and it's not that much travel from Golden State to Sacramento. So I like a lot of these Knicks. What about the Kings? The New York Knicks defensive rating is pretty decent, but I think we also have to consider how slow in pace they play, 96.5. They might be the slowest paced team in basketball. They are. So I guess it does kind of drag the Kings upside down a little bit more, and you don't feel fun playing 8K to 9K for De'Aaron Fox. Marvin Bagley and Rashawn Holmes, I think, are the two that I'm curious with. Bagley, I think, is officially probable, right? No, he's questionable. No, he's probable with that wrist. I think Rashawn Holmes, though, is just sitting there staring at me like at 6,300 on DraftKings, just like, Gun, I could drop 40 for you today. Let me do it. Let me add him. That Knicks center defense has been where you want to attack for fantasy, so I'm with that. But, yeah, Randall, M-Rob. Is Randall a tier 1 at almost 9K on both sites? And I don't think – like, it's easy to say yes now, but if you're going to have investments in Harden and some of these other 8K guys – like you can't logistically tell me you're gonna have tier 1 exposure to Randall, Harden, Depot, guys like that. So where would you if you make one lineup tonight? Does it include Julius Randle?
I want to have him at like minimum 20%. I just need a smash spot, and it could be like a 60 mile at that price. So probably a tier 1 for me. I just think the chalk just seems like it's going to go off today for sure, but. We've been wrong about that before, but it just seems like all these chalky plays are in such smash spots.
Last night, Julius Randle only had a 19% usage rate.
That's strange.
But prior to that, 28, 28, 29, 31. I think it was that. I mean, maybe a little bit of that Draymond Green effect. I don't know. But the rebounds were nuts. The assists,
yeah, he had a down scoring game and still got there.
He almost triple-doubled on his lowest usage rating of the season. So you give me 36 plus minutes of Julius Randle against the worst defense in basketball, I'm a buyer. So I'm in on that. Chat, what do you guys got? You got any lasting questions, comments, concerns? Man, I guess people didn't expect me to come back. This is one of our lower view counts, but we'll be I think Monday for sure we'll hit the ground running. I might have some streams this weekend. We'll see how that goes out. But I'm so excited. I got so much work, so much content on the back burner. Even thought about getting Danny in the mix, the DraftKings picks, right? But yeah, chat, hit me with your last questions, comments, concerns. We'll chop it up here. Josh says, load up on the Knicks. Sacramento's one of the worst defenses. Yes. ETC Jr., what do you think about LaMelo Ball? It's really hard to get to LaMelo Ball at that price on this big of a slate. If it works, it works. I definitely wouldn't – like, if you made a line and said, I like LaMelo Knight, I'm playing him in that game, sure, go for it. I'm not – I mean, we're talking pace up, right? The Bulls are the fastest-paced team, right? So you put that – or the Bulls – they're fastest-paced team on this slate, excuse me. So you put LaMelo in that mix, and he's a guy that could legitimately get you a triple-double, at least flirt with one. I don't think it's a crazy thought. I think it's a hard click pre-flop, but it's one of those cajones on the table type of plays that could get you there. Randall and Barrett from this game, maybe a sprinkle of Holmes. Yeah, man, Holmes is there for me. What up, Quan? Do you like Roby? Isaiah Roby? I probably don't have a need for him today. I have been playing him pretty consistently and pretty faithfully. But 4,500, maybe on FanDuel he gets there. But I like Thad Young quite a bit. I like Gafford over here. And we talked about, who did we just say that was a power forward over here that was value? Man, we just talked about somebody that's a power forward over here. No, Marcus Morris. No, that wasn't him. Oh, dude, I'm having an old man moment. I literally just highlighted somebody that was power forward in the last couple games, and I was like, he's a power forward. So I like the idea of. I mean, you could get the Roby. I just don't think that game is on the market for me. Oh, Noel, Thad Young, Daniel Gafford. There's plenty of value of power forward today on DraftKings. I just don't think I get to Roby today. Big time blowout risk too. All right, my mind is blown on who I was just talking about. Anyway, that's it, guys. Twitter.com/Gundacker is where you guys can reach out to me. Otherwise, I'll see you guys in the RunDFS.com VIP. Danny says, any cores, point guards on FanDuel? Core. I like Brogdon quite a bit, but if we're looking for some cheaper stuff, I think Kobe White at 6'1" is something I can get to against the Hornets. Go pull up the Charlotte Hornets. Actually, let's go team metrics chart. What do we want to? Let's go back to that game. The Hornets are allowing almost 42 points per game from behind the arc, so it's one of them. It's pretty high. I think Kobe White's game is to shoot that three ball. Him and Devontae Graham are very similar to me in archetype. I think 6,100 there's a shot that for me that I could see myself getting behind a lot of Kobe White.
Kobe White's FanDuel price is a lot better than his DK price.
A lot, yeah. Even DeLon Wright has meat on the bone to be point per minute on FanDuel, 29, 29, 30, 28, and we're putting him against the Rockets. Now, he might get the worst matchup of the bunch against Depot, but points per minute at that price point, I'd chip in a chair that type of volume. Also like the idea of the Luka Porzingis handcuff using the value plays. So I don't know that I would core Luka at that price, but I definitely got him in the mix. And then Malcolm Brogdon is probably my favorite upper price guy just based on the matchup today. The Orlando Magic, I know it sounds yucky, but ever since Markelle went down, and I think MCW is still on the fringe here, Orlando's given up the most fantasy points per game to opposing point guard. So could be a little sneaky spot there for Malcolm Brogdon, and his minutes, of course, are going to be pretty high, right? Small forward, 5,700 DraftKings for Roby. Yeah, I can see that. Anyway, that's it for me, chat. Let me look at the NBA schedule for tomorrow before I get off the air and see if maybe I can commit to a afternoon stream. Tomorrow we got 2, 4, 6, 7 games. Normal slate lock. What time is the NFL game tomorrow? I won't compete with NFL 5:40. Or no, both the games are on Sunday. Okay. Then yeah, I could probably throw you guys a stream tomorrow if you guys want. It's a nice little medium slate. This is about the size slate I've been dying for, Raj. 7-gamer. Who knows if one of these games gets scratched?
Yeah.
Them 6 to 8. So those are my wheelhouse. So tomorrow might be the let's get it. So I'll commit to one, chat. We'll do tomorrow. 7 games. Do I want to do 3 or 4? Maybe 3:30. 3:30 be all right. Maybe 3:30.
NFL games tomorrow? What time do they start?
No, both the games are on Sunday.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So I'll probably throw you guys a stream tomorrow, chat. Maybe 3:30 might be the nice middle ground. But follow me on Twitter, and I'll keep you guys updated. Other than that, I'll be in the RunDFS.com NBA VIP Discord.
Stream the song, chat. Stream the song. You ain't the one, Jalen Carter. Stream. Send it to your exes. Send it to your friends. Whoever in your life ain't the one. You know what to do.
That's it, chat. I love you guys. Appreciate you guys hanging out. Good to be back. Good luck.